night.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Horror Night Oasis, a radio show where we discuss all the latest movies and news from the world of horror. Joining me tonight, as always, is my co-host Ian. Ian, are you there?
I hope so.
Yeah, it's always something. We had a little bit of difficulty last show where my internet kept going out, and then just everything froze, and that show went a little wonky at the end. So at least everything happened at the start, knock on wood. But we are here to continue, well, not to continue, to commence the annual Halloween Grab Bag Marathon, where we discuss nothing but Halloween related movies for the entire month of October. It's one of our favorites of the year when it comes around, and I'm always interested to see what titles show up. We reach into the old bag and pull something out and compare it to a candy. Usually, that's what we do at the end of these things. And of course, once the marathon ends, we rank them as we usually do with marathons and all that fun stuff. And might be a few little extra goodies in there occasionally to toss in there just randomly. But Ian, I'm always down for this one. This is one of our favorites, and I know it's always
definitely one of mine.
You never know what you're gonna get, So I guess we'll go ahead and start this off with our film, Isleen Pines. So Isleen Pines is a very, very easy movie to describe because it's kind of not much to discuss, really. But I think there's some moments of grandeur that it has. But we'll get into it. We are... Honestly, plot-wise, it's very, very minor. We have a group of friends who are coming together for a annual Halloween. It's sort of like the town party in a sense, and they all come together in their own costumes to go to this bigger party. So they have their main party they go to where they all kind of catch up what they've been doing for the past year, and then they go to the annual party that is taking place somewhere, some kind of building in town where like all the locals go to for a Halloween costume party that's run by this guy in a clown outfit. And we have two subplots. We have the friend subplot where we have our characters that is a witch, a vampire, one is dressed as a ghost, and one's a zombie. And then we have, again, the costume party. And then we're also introduced to a side plot where it's the neighbor of the witch, and he's taking photographs of a miniature Halloween town that he's constructing. And that's a total opposite plot as well. And so basically you just have the friends kind of partying, chatting up, um, and then the ghost, he's skateboarding to the witch's house, and this is where the horror element comes in. Very faintly at the beginning of the movie, when you get the title card, you see something rolling in the something in the sky rolling, and then he comes across this thing in the yard, and this is this is the only way I could describe what it looks, the alien fetus, and it's the only thing, it unlocked a deep memory because it's been so long since I remembered this character and of this series, but it looked like a Kabuto from Pokemon. I don't know why. It just like that looks like that freaking pincher thing from Pokemon. So it reminded me of that. And basically it spits black goo on him, and that kind of infects him a little bit. And so he goes onto the party, him and his friends, and they're all just having drinks and partying, just like catching up, doing friendly things. And basically, and again, all this is, they're cutting back and forth from each character. So you have the friends, you have the costume party with the clown, and like he meets up with a magician, and like the magician, he's like later on in the film, he's going around saying like he's the co-creator of the bash, the costume party, and that upsets the clown. And then you have the clown meeting up with like two other friends who are CIA agents dressed up as CIA agents, and just like he's mingling around with like everyone in the building, and just doing his thing. And it cuts back to the what the happenings of the friends. So basically, the ghost guy, he gets infected, and they're doing this thing where like they eat cookies, and like one of it has to take this gnarly shot of juice thing concoction that's just like the that's like the if you play pong and you put all the water or something or all the beer in one cup and you have to drink the bad cup and like everything. It's basically that, or just like a really bad concoction. And so he does that, he loses, and he has to go to the bathroom. And then this is what I have to say this at the very beginning because it's a minor spoiler, but it's like the best part of the fucking movie. He goes to the bathroom and his dick explodes, and a slug comes out of it, and it's the best. Like it is a statement, and that's the thing. Like, okay, hopefully it keeps this going because I want to, it's like, oh yeah, because I always love a good movie that starts with a dick being ripped off or something happening with with a member, and it was a good start. And then that ultimately he gave birth to the eventual creature that you see there on the poster. It's this big, uh, I mean, it's cheap looking, but for what the budget and the limitations, it looked fine. It's just like this hulking menace, with appendages and pincers and all that, sort of predator esque in a way, where he just grows into this hulking monster. And so basically, the group of friends has to fight the creature while everything else is happening. You get, they fight the creature, costume party, guy taking photographs and looking outside his door. That's technically the gist of the movie. Now, overall, I was kind of let down by it, but I still didn't mind it. The effects and the creature effects and the few gore effects throughout, and the blood effects, those were top notch. Those were good. I really enjoy those, especially for the budget. Um, just seeing that slug come out of that guy's dick was just chef's kiss. It's just like you're like it's like straight up there. Um, just camera right there. There's a penis. There's something coming out of it. It's almost like porn quality. Just watching the money shot
Yeah.
happen. They weren't afraid to show it. And I give them props for doing that because that's like again, it's the moment of the movie, honestly. And sadly, it kind of goes downhill from there because it's just there wasn't that much energy, and I think that kind of was its main drawback. Was it wasn't energetic, like how Night of the Demons is, and it's just like all these friends coming together and they're having fun, and it just keeps ratcheting up the tension between everything with Angela and more people getting possessed and all that stuff. And this one just, it had, like I said, it had moments sprinkled throughout of like solid things, but then it just cuts and just like to these side plots. It's just like, why are you there? It I felt like they needed, and this is like the main part that I was coming away with, is the friends needed more of the story than the neighbor. Like the neighbor could have been taken out of the film. Like he really served no purpose, and you could have laid
Yeah.
more foundation for the friends, or have them party, or get to know each other a little, reminisce a little bit more, so you can get more involved with their characters and learn more about them leading up to their eventual demise. And it just felt like there was nothing cohesive there. It was just like again, just passing at a party, like, oh hey, what's going on? Oh, nothing much. See you
Yeah.
around. It's just like that. And it's just like there was no friendship, no bonding. I mean, they tried, and that's what they were trying to do with the party. But like again, like as soon as they started the party, the ghost guy died, and it was just like, well, that was out of nowhere. And then like they started to fight, and then another character died, and then this, and then that, and it's just like you're killing your characters off too quick, and that's like the one thing I like. They needed a little bit more of a build up, and they could have cut like some of the character banter from the party and all that stuff. I mean, you could have still had the party stuff and like whatever subplot that was, and because it's the big, the build up. I mean, I understand you wanted to have that to the eventual finale, that kind of gets cut short, but I digress. But you just needed more bonding, more friendships, more how's everything's been going, since the last year we've seen each other, and they just don't do that, and they just like again they just kill people off quickly, and just like you needed more depth with the characters. It was just lacking. But Ian, I'll let you go, and then we'll go back and forth.
Well, uh, I kind of felt like this movie, like you said, kind of was like a little bit of a letdown. I did like aspects of the movie, like the blood and the explosion in the bathroom, and all that, stuff. I did find it kind of boring at most parts. Like I felt like the pacing was a little bit off. I don't know. Like this was one of those movies for me that like there's nothing really to tear into because it's serviceable as a movie. Like I didn't hate it. I thought it was fine. Like what they were trying to do, and yeah, that neighbor was absolutely pointless. Like because I was sitting here when I first saw like the model houses and all that stuff that guy was building. I was like, is this going to be like a model house movie? Like, I was thinking like he was going to be like part of it or something, but I was just kind of hoping that he wasn't just a random throwaway character. Like, I felt like this movie would have not changed if they just got rid of him. I did like watching him cut the tentacle off his arm, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it was fine. It's a fine movie. Like, I didn't feel like it was unlike, like the last movie where, it needed to be a little shorter. I thought the length was okay. I just felt like some of the couple like little pointless scenes here and there should have been removed and tightened up a little bit. I wanted more from the characters. Like I felt like I didn't really get to like bond with these characters as much as I would have hoped for in a movie. But
Yeah, like it kind of reminded me. Here's another one I'm throwing out there: Idle Hands. Like the guy comes up, he gets his hands possessed, and then like you have your friends, and you're like you become friends with Devon Sawa's character, and of course his buddies, and everything that happens with them, and you get that the friendship and bonding with their
Yeah.
characters, and then that eventual lead up to the concert that at the end of the film, and you have all these little Vivica A. Fox's character and the guy that um, with the monster truck. There's like all these little subplots that are cohesive. Like this one is like you don't get that. Of course, like of course Jessica Alba, the love interest and stuff like that. But I'm just like saying that like he has the same thing, general
He's still
idea of like friends, Halloween, this party at the end, and like something happening before you get to the party where murders start happening at the party.
Yeah.
Um, and like this one, just like they just come together, they like talk for like 2 seconds. I'm just throwing it out there, 2 seconds, but just like they just talk, and then one of the characters dies, and then like it slowly happens after that. And like you needed more to understand like their friendship. Just like they didn't really write the characters all that much. It was just like I said, just like passing by conversations if you see somebody out, and it just didn't feel like again. Maybe that's supposed to be the part of the film that maybe we're missing that. Like maybe it's supposed to be like parted friendship, and like I have no idea, but it just felt like something was missing. There was no energy. There was just nothing. And as you said, it does kind of, even though it keeps things moving with like all these cuts to these different plots with the party and the characters and the clown guy talking to people, and then you cut back to them fighting the alien creature, and I mean it keeps things like going at a decent pace, but it's just like there was like not that much energy where it's just like you're not really like you're invested, but you're not fully invested. Like you're taking notes at like the during a test, or not test, but like barely taking notes, and you need the notes for the big test, and you're just like, oh, I wish I took more notes at the end of it. Like, oh well, you're just left with like not much there. Like you have there's good intentions, and I see it, and I like really again I like parts of the film, I really do, and it just needed to be more energetic and just fun instead of just like
Yeah.
you know sort of laid back and subdued.
Yeah. Like what you were saying about Idle Hands, like I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but I definitely get what you were saying. Like I feel that because this movie just like it had a lot of stuff going for it, but it just felt like they were trying to do like a little too much but not in the right ways. Um, like the conversations, like you said, were boring. There was a random music number, like bands playing, which I thought was kind of weird. Um, like I don't know, it just felt like they had a lot of good ideas, but like wasn't sure how to execute them. And I really wanted the movie to be more like upbeat, a little more like just a little more camp. I mean, it was pretty campy already, but like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, a little bit more humor. I felt like it could have also just been the acting, like because I was sitting there thinking that after I finished it, I was like, I couldn't tell if it was the acting that was dry or it was the script that was dry. I mean, you know, but bad acting isn't the worst. Like I said, it wasn't like it was like this movie's on, I'll watch it. Like if somebody put this on, I wouldn't be like, let's watch something else. I'd just be like, all right, it's good enough to, just sit down and turn your brain off and just a little watch to pass the time by, but not nothing I'll probably remember. Um, like those characters were pretty forgettable.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like when that's supposed to be like your main focus of the film, and like they're like 35% of it almost, and it just felt like you guys didn't really fully realize this friendship thing, did you? That's the thing. It's just like it just seemed like they came together and like they tried, like they started to like go that route, and then they just like no, dick explosion, and then they just forgot about it. And so they just like they needed more of a build up to that. I mean they kind of did, but just they kind of glossed over it. They go, like, oh, he comes there, he finds that, he gets puked on by the alien fetus, and then they drink a few beers and eat cookies and stuff like that, and then dick explosion, and then he's dead. And then they just mull around for a while, just watching, and then like the slug, the worm creature slugs around for a while, and then I don't know, it needed more camaraderie between them, more banter, and just like more getting to know each other. Like there's like another movie. It's not Halloween related, but it's like High Desert Kill, and it's about three buddies that goes into the mountains and in the desert, and like they're like talking. You learn more about their characters and the history of why they go there, and like the friend that used to be there is like a spirit sort of ghost thing, and like he looks at him in like in red whenever he's on screen, and so he's like circling around him, and it's like there's this back and forth and this like camaraderie nature of them getting to know each other after so long, all the characters just being friends, it just like felt like, I mean, they're friends, but again, that maybe that's part of it that's lost on us. Like they're friends, but they're not close friends because they don't see each other for once a year. But I don't know. It just felt like there needed to be more of like friendship. That's the only thing. It's just
Yeah,
lacking friendship.
like
Like they had no quirks or anything like that. Besides, oh, you lost at the party last time. I don't want to drink it. That's all he really did was just like talk about last time, not talk about friendship and being
yeah,
friends.
and I mean, you know, I'm gonna say like the cover art, like you can see if you're,
Like there were more. They were
looking at it.
the friends in Devil May Care were more friends than they were in Isleen Pines.
No, yeah, exactly. And the poster set me up. I think I was expecting more just based on like the poster because I was like, this looks fun and zany. People in Halloween costumes fighting a monster. How do you go wrong with that? Like, it writes itself. Like, and I mean, it like shows the witch having magical powers, and you know, and I just like I think this movie could have been something more, and
It's
you
sort of like
know,
Knights of Badassdom too. I don't know if you've seen Knights of Badassdom,
I
but that's like
haven't.
when all of them come together at the LARPing, and like everyone's LARPing, and then their outfits, and then they unleash the dragon monster thing, and then like they're all fighting the monster. So it's like it could have been sort of Knights of Badassdom a little bit, but with all the friends and LARPing and shit. But they don't really do much in this one, sadly. I mean, that's the main thing your movie should be is the friends coming together to fight a monster, and you just kind of push it aside.
Yeah, they pushed the main gimmick of this movie to the side, and I just like I said, like it felt like they had like so many good ideas. This movie had a lot that could have went right with it, and it just felt like they kind of dropped the ball because they didn't know where to go and how to like execute it. Like it's you can have good ideas all day long, but it's just the execution
Like
that
you can
makes
still
it.
have the like I said, I mean, you could have took the neighbor out entirely, and it elongated the character's build up, whatever, and maybe extend the murder scene at the end a little bit. Or you can use him sparingly, You don't need to know that he's a freaking photographer that takes pictures of houses. I mean, you can just have him as some neighbor. But I mean, just like half the there's at least 20 minutes of him on at least 20 of like his central plot.
Yeah.
Just like him just wandering around, opening the door, looking outside, seeing, oh, never mind, I'm going back in. He goes back in, he wanders around, he goes to the kitchen, wanders back around, just like all he did was wander. And like you could have
No,
just
yeah, like
used
that was
it was
they could have
nothing.
done something. Yeah, they could have definitely like just got rid of him. And then like I felt like if they got rid of him, they could have, used his time slot to fill in the friendship blanks and give us a little bit more than what we got with them. But I mean, this is one of those movies that I don't feel like there's a whole lot to be able to really discuss without like getting into just hardcore spoilers and
Yeah,
like
and I don't really
like
want to
minuscule.
spoil. Like the only
Yeah,
reason I spoiled the ghost is because it's like the start of everything, so you kind of have to. But I mean,
yeah,
I mean, it's still kind of a short watch. I mean, it was like 78 minutes, something
yeah,
around that. Um, so I mean, again, it keeps things flowing, but not the way that you would want it to go. Sadly, you just want more bonding and understanding. Like getting to know each other again. Like, oh, that's a cool costume, and this is cool, that's cool. Because they're all leading up to this costume thing. You think you're gonna win the costume contest with a sheet over your head? I don't know. There's like all kinds of stuff there that they could have played up with a little bit more than just in passing. And that's the main downfall of the film, and just the big, I don't know. But I think I'm gonna go ahead and give you what I thought it was candy wise, because we always like to compare it to reaching into a bag and pulling out a piece of candy, and mine's a little out there, but it felt like it was the only one I could really compare it to is a chunky bar. And for those who don't know what a chunky bar is, it's like 4 blocks, which is basically, in a sense, 4 friends. And inside, it has peanuts and raisins, and it's covered in chocolate, of course. And so but it's like really thick. And so you bite into it, and it takes a minute to bite into it because each one's 4 friends, basically. But you get like a gooey part in each part of their death, basically. And then the gore scenes, because I'm using that as the raisins example. And then the peanuts is like where you have to take your time to chew it so you don't break a tooth. And where the
yeah.
film's just kind of like each subplot is like a peanut, where like you have to just take your time. Like you really don't need the peanuts, but that's what I thought of as a chunky bar.
Um, yeah. What I was thinking of was more like the like those Nestle Crunch bars,
Mm,
where it's like, you know, it's okay. Like it's not like the chocolate's kind of bland. Uh, and it's like, it's got a little bit of pizzazz to it, but overall, it's just like I'm only going to eat this literally just because it's in my thing. Like I wouldn't go out of my way to purposely get one of these candy bars. Uh, this is personal taste, but like, yeah, I feel like it, because it has like its moments. Like
yeah,
it's not like oh my god, this is the worst movie ever, but like, if it's if like people are if I'm at in with a group of friends and they're like, hey, let's put this movie on, I'm not gonna be like, oh god, no, turn it. So I'd watch it just because it's there, but like I wouldn't go out of my way to ever watch this movie again.
yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, I think we both chose relatively good choices. Again, I went more in depth as I normally do, but like both are fine choices, and they pretty much, you know, makes the film sort of like, again, our examples of everything makes it pretty good and obvious of why our choices were made. And again, there's really not much else to, talk about.
Yeah,
Sadly, it's not one of those that, as
like
Ian
we can
said,
dive
it's
into. Yeah.
yeah, we pretty
Like
much, that's just the thing. Like, it just kept going with this subplot, that subplot, and then back to this one, and it just, merry-go-round everything together.
and some of them, because usually these kind of movies, you know, they have a hook. There's like something that hooks us into what we can actually like talk about and going more into depth into like the tearing apart or giving it praises for stuff.
Hmm.
And this is just one of those movies that just is kind of blasé.
Yeah, it kind of another one that it reminded us when we reviewed Bad Apples of the two sisters wearing the masks, and like how that one was just kind of basic and just like, yeah, this is like there, but like this one's a little bit, again, there's a little more to this one with the gore and the creature effects, and I'll give him props for
Yeah.
that. It's still,
Oh
like,
yeah,
you
definitely.
could have done more.
Like I liked the way the costumes looked nice. They actually looked like you know Halloween costumes. And
Yeah.
because usually when we watch movies like this, like they're usually like more elaborate if they have a big budget, or like you can tell they were like got as cheap, from the cheapest place they could find in a hurry, or just threw something together like from their house. Like this just felt like they're a group of friends that went out to like Spirit Halloween or something and bought costumes.
Hmm.
And I was like, like it felt more like had more of a realistic feel to me in that aspect. So I give them, like they put a lot of thought behind what they did. It's just the execution was kind of poorly done. And I think this movie tightened up and spruced up a little bit would have been a perfect, like I would have had a lot more fun and there would be a lot more of a conversation behind it.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
But
it needed more friendship, and that's sad when your whole film's based off friendship and there's lacking friendship.
yeah.
I don't know. But I guess that's going to do it for Isleen Pines. There's not really much else we can delve into, sadly, without, again, as Ian said, without going into spoilers. And I really don't want to spoil a lot of stuff. I mean, if you want to watch it, I mean, again, it's fine. It's fine. It's right now at the top of the list until the end of the month.
Yeah.
So, uh,
So
yeah. But Ian, I hope everything goes well on your end. And I know we got some things
and
coming up. It's going
likewise.
to be difficult, but we're going to mosey on through and put this marathon out there. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else we can pull out of this grab bag. And as always, I appreciate everyone for listening, and we will see you next time on Horror Night Oasis.
Good night.